Today is the second month of spring in the year 2025. The name of the region is Choram Plain, located in Kohgilui and Boyrakmat province. The castle had two floors, and its roof was made of wooden beams, which have now collapsed due to wind, rain, and erosion. Building such castles was a way for the castle owners to mark their territory and defend it against invaders. Here is the continuation of the Zagros Mountain range in the south of Iran. The local people of this region belong to the lower ethnic group and speak the Lori dialect. These people are the descendants of the ancient Elamites who formed the great civilization of Iran before the Achaemenid dynasty. In past years, many more animal species used to live in this mountain, but today, due to the destruction of their habitats, loss of vegetation, change in their food sources, and drought affecting the rivers, we no longer see these animals here. The only animals that still inhabit this ecosystem are the hedgehog, jackal, and fox. A few birds, such as the partridge and samoals, also live in this mountain area. A native and beautiful bird called the hoopoe is also seen less frequently due to the loss of its food sources. Back when the rivers were not yet affected by drought, birds like the kingfisher, woodpecker, falcon, and geese could also be observed in this plain. Next to this mountain, there is another mountain known as Mount Silla, Black Mountain, which is home to native oak trees of southern Iran. Local people collect acorn from the branches of these trees to use as animal feed and even for their own food. In the past, acorn were collected, their thick shells broken, and the kernel ground into flour. The flour was then placed in a sack beside the river and submerged under water for several days to remove its bitterness. After the acorn flour became sweet, meaning the bitterness was removed, they made a type of local bread from it. The cooking method was as follows. First, they gathered the oak wood to light a fire and placed a convex metal plate on the fire. In the local dialect of the Lor people, this convex metal plate is called tave. Then the corn flour was mixed with water to make a watery dough, which was sprayed on the side using a tool which a relatively long handle and wide head, locally called a spoon. Oak bread baked on a metal plate or tower is known as lalaki. It is also known as KALG. Several caves and rock shelters can also be seen in this mountain, which were ancient homes of local people. In these interlinked caves, traces of ancient inhabitants are visible, who carved and prepared the interiors to suit their lifestyle. Here is the cave entrance, and at its end there is a large natural opening for exit. Above this cave, ancient people carved the stones for astronomical purposes, sometimes to measure rainfall in months, and sometimes to crush local plants. You can also see this stone carving above this cave. Some of the deeper carvings were used to measure annual rainfall to determine irrigation water availability for their crops. In archaeology, these carvings are called joran, or ancient stone carving. I intend to climb the mountain and show you the local castle at the summit, which is made of stone and plaster. A taller mountain parallel to this one, also called Mount Se, Black Mountain, hosts relatively good biodiversity of animals, plants, and trees. I continued hiking until I reached the top to show you a 360 degrees view of the surrounding village and beautiful nature. The villages you are talking about in Baladan were the source of the Korki River springs. This village is the source of the river we touched about earlier and the drought it has faced. From the mountain where I am filming in Choram Plain, you can also see the bright valley of the Muger River. In this plain, you can also see a view of the city of Choram. The village I mentioned including Baladan and Elbachin, which I showed you from the mountain, are all part of Choram Plain. In the distant view, you can see a village called Muger. This village is the source of the river. We take the boat earlier and the drought it has faced. There are water mills near the village of Muger and Korki. A closer view of the village you see in the image is called Korki. This castle was built in ancient times by local elders who led the people of the Korki village area. This castle had the water reservoir and the water mill downstream of the structure, both of which belonged to the castle itself. In this area, there were more than three old watermills, now mostly destroyed. These mills were used to grind wheat, barley, and other grains like acorns. If you are interested in nature, please like and subscribe and leave a comment to encourage us to make more videos for you. The Muger River, visible in the distance spring from between these two foothills near the village of Muger. After traveling some distance, it flows through the middle of this plain and descends toward the lower part of the valley. Once the river flows down from the upper part of the plain, it enters another section of the plain, this wheat field you see, and irrigates the farmlands. From the top of the mountain, the river banks can clearly be seen. The traced layout of the field in this plain is due to rice cultivation, which was common when the river carried plenty of water. The village visible in the image is called Balada, and the Korki River passes beside it. The Korki River becomes fuller and more forceful after merging with the waters of the Muger River at a certain point where the two meet.